Hey, Warrior Saints! We're in a dark and perilous time right now, and we're experiencing a crisis of leadership. Throughout history, we have seen revealed to us amazing men and women who have led people through the crisis and through the perilous times. And these leaders come from all walks of life. Some of them are political, like Christopher Columbus, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, or Winston Churchill. Some of them are military leaders. Maybe Alexander the Great or Genghis Khan come to mind. Certainly General George Patton. We even have leaders in business like Steve Jobs or Jack Welch. Of course, there are religious leaders like Gandhi, Mother Teresa, and even Moses. There are also evil leaders. Throughout history, we have seen men like Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin and Chairman Mao. And when thinking about leadership, the most important question is, what is it that makes a good leader? What are the key qualities or characteristics that make a good leader versus a bad leader? There are a lot of people who are exploring the answers to those questions. People like John Maxwell, or Jim Collins. Tony Robbins comes to mind, Peter Drucker. I even have a friend named Brent Garrison who wrote a book called Leadership by the Book. There's even a trendy new genre called servant leadership, where people are trying to explore ways of helping other people acquire and become the people they want to through their leadership. And while most of that work is really good, there's a lot of quality stuff there. I feel like there's just something's missing. We need just a little bit more to take us over the edge, to really skyrocket to where we want to be. And so we ask the next question, well, who's going to teach us that? Not often thought of as a leader, we often think of him as the Son of God. Jesus Christ is indeed the greatest leader of all time. And his style of leadership is something very different, countercultural, against the grain of how we as human beings think. Christ conquers the greatest of all monsters, leading his people through the most perilous times, through the cross, through his crucifixion, death, and resurrection. And he is calling you to follow his path of leadership. In what I consider to be the foremost text on leadership, chapter 5, 6, and 7 of the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus delivers his Sermon on the Mount. And very early in chapter 5, he says to us the following: "You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid, nor do men light a lamp and put it under a bushel, but they put it on a stand so that it gives light to all in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they might see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven." I mean, that's powerful and awesome. He is saying to us, you are the light of the world. You are the light that leads people. If you think about light, what does it do for us? It shows us how to walk. It shows us where to go. It shows us how we can live our lives. And we have been called to be light to the world. We have been called to lead. You may be saying to yourself, but how can I lead like Jesus? I'm just a human being. To say that is to rob yourself of that high calling to which the Lord has laid upon us. You don't have to be the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar corporation with thousands and thousands of employees to lead. You could be a husband who leads his wife, a wife who leads her husband, parents who lead their children. You can be a teacher who leads her students, a business owner who leads his employees. You could be a priest who leads his parish. You have been called to be a light to the world so that when people see you lead, they know where to walk. So how do you do it? How do we find these leadership skills and qualities so that we might be that light to the world? I can show you how. Let me help you become the very best leader that you can be. I'm Father Chris Salam. I'm the founder of the Warrior Saints movement. And for the past 22 years, our Warrior Saints team has been grinding and working super hard to hone our own leadership skills, to become the very best leaders that we can be. And we've taken all of this study and all of this effort and distilled it down into a new series that we're launching on the Way of the Warrior Saint. Let me talk to you really briefly about the Way of the Warrior Saint. The Way of the Warrior Saint, it's an online library of video teachings that are very simple, very practical, very positive, very applicable into our lives, all based on the teachings of Christ himself. And the overarching theme, the main idea in all of the teachings, is something we call crucifixional living. What does that word mean, crucifixion? I'm glad you asked because we made it up. But what it means is this. Crucifixion means the sacrifice of self for the sake of other. And it is directly connected to, directly imitating Jesus himself. Modeled after Jesus' voluntary death on the cross, this series is applicable for everyone. And it's designed to show us how to be crucifixional leaders, to be able to see the world through the lens of the cross, so that we understand that crucifixional leadership isn't the best way to lead, it's the only way to lead. Each of the videos in the Crucifixional Leadership series will follow a pattern. First, we'll identify one particular leadership skill or quality that we are trying to develop. We'll explore it in context, and we'll also see the challenges that we face as we're trying to develop that in our own lives. Next, we'll see what God's position is on this particular leadership skill. Through examining Holy Scripture, we'll find how He wants us to implement that into our lives. And each video will end with some practical points, tools, things that you can do right now and implement this skill into your life that very day. And at the start of every week, we're going to upload a new teaching on crucifixional leadership. And I'm going to encourage you, watch that video every single day that week. Maybe on your lunch break. Maybe you take the subway to work. Maybe late at night in bed before you go to sleep. Watch the video each day that week and start practicing the new tools that you're learning. You can use them at school, use them at work, use them at home. Each and every day, practice the new skills that you are learning, and very quickly, you will find yourself on the road to crucifixional leadership. And look, I'm going to push you hard. Like, leaders aren't born. Leaders are grown. Leaders are trained. Leaders are taught. Through the Crucifixional Living series, we're going to push. We're going to experience some discomfort, stepping outside of our comfort zone, thinking in new ways, trying new and different things, facing challenges. But by repetition and by continual effort, we're going to find ourselves conquering all of those old monsters that we used to submit to and find ourselves on the road towards crucifixional leadership. And we've got some pretty heavy topics. I mean, this isn't for someone who wants to pretend to be a leader. This is a series for real leadership. You're going to see things like how to take responsibility, humility, integrity, fearlessness, how to be a decisive leader, how to think, to be thoughtful and to learn, how to have a powerful work ethic, and how to overcome challenges and setbacks. Leadership has never been more essential than it is today. And it's time for you and I to step up and become crucifixional leaders. To do that, all you have to do is visit us at warriorsaints.org and subscribe to the Way of the Warrior Saint Weekly. It only costs $30 a month. It's less than $1 a day. That fancy latte you get every morning at Starbucks, it costs 4 and 5 times as much. This is a program that will change your life, helping you become the best that you can be, helping you become the light to the world. Visit us at warriorsaints.org, and we'll see you on the Way of the Warrior Saint.